And we're joined by Darren Call at the new location for the overnight sheltering area. Just a few hundred meters from the old one. Why the move? What's changed?
So the previous site wasn't achieving all of our objectives. And among those objectives is the usability of the site. Previous site was further from key health and social service supports downtown. The size of that site is smaller than this site, and especially in the context of COVID, we want to provide as much space as possible so that people can physically separate. And the big difference that you see behind me is that the previous site was immediately adjacent to, with no obstruction, no designed separation at all from these very distinct user groups. The riders and the cyclists that we see here on Rail Trail, and those that unfortunately are having to shelter outdoors in our community.
So we have this berm that's landscaped and trees, and just to provide a little separation of these different uses.
Correct. This site has been built, it's purpose built, and it's planned based on crime prevention through environmental design. And so there are a number of features in this site which again separate the users and enables more natural surveillance and just a distinction of the space.
And there are elements that I see that have, some of them were at the old site as well, but I mean, at this point, I see washroom facilities, there's water, they can wash their hands. It does seem that it is some, humane provisions.
Absolutely. So certainly COVID has been a game changer for all of us. And I'll remind everybody, we the city have a legal obligation to designate public space when we do not have enough beds available in our city. And we know outdoor sheltering, this isn't a solution. And that's why we spend a lot of our time working through Journey Home and BC Housing to provide shelters and to provide supportive housing. But as long as we don't have enough space, unfortunately, people are sheltering outdoors. And in the context of COVID particularly, we need to provide some basic, humanitarian measures for people.
Wherever you put it or however you operate it, these things always will generate complaints. How do you think this will fare in terms of whatever public acceptance you can get?
Anytime that we are putting a complex issue and a complex population in public spaces, in proximity to businesses and residents, rail trail users in this case, it's absolutely going to generate complaints. And so that's unavoidable. But what we can do about that, and this is we, the city, and Bylaw Services and the RCMP, working with BC Housing and others, our job then is to mitigate those issues in the first place through planning and design, and then to manage them and minimize the impact to the extent possible.